Welcome to Tell Me More, the Allsteel podcast where design meets innovation and we explore the limitless potential of workspaces. In this exclusive series, we're peeling back the layers of workplace design. From the psychology of colors to the future of hybrid work, join us as we open doors to conversations with industry leaders, architects, and designers who redefine the modern workplace. This is Tell Me More, brought to you by Allsteel, because when it comes to designing the future, there's always more to discover. Welcome to the Doing More series, where we share the voices and perspectives of design leaders in the A&D community. My name is Chelsea Compton. I'm a marketing manager for Allsteel, and joining me for the conversation today is Jasmine Efrussy. So, Jasmine, we're super happy to have you here. Would you mind briefly introducing yourself to those tuning in?
Sure. My name is Jasmine Efrussy, and I'm an associate principal and the director of furniture services for Corrigan.
Awesome. Can you tell us where you're from and what it is that you do, Jasmine?
I'm from Dallas, Texas, and I work at Corrigan, and I'm an interior designer. I'm in the workplace studio, and my team focuses on furniture for projects. We also support other verticals at Corrigan, so healthcare, data centers, education, as needed when they need some furniture expertise.
And how long have you been in the industry?
I've been in the industry for 25 years. It's gone really fast, but I really enjoy it.
So quite a bit of experience. I guess what inspired you to join this industry in particular?
I had a circuitous route. I was a studio art major in college, and while I really enjoy art and artistic things, I was really questioning like how am I gonna like make money and support myself and I'm also kind of competitive and art it really isn't a competition personally for me. It shouldn't be. I found like the best artists were just wanting to get their work out there, and I was just comparing myself to others and feeling like this isn't totally for me. But my boyfriend at the time was in architecture, and I really loved what he was doing too, which was artistic, but also had something that was going to not that art doesn't contribute to society, but it was really something that's going to contribute to business, to his future, and I really found that interesting. But I wasn't really interested in the construction of buildings and urban planning or things like that. And he was like, "You should really look into interior design." I knew a little bit about interior design. It was a little bit before the HGTV revolution. So there wasn't that much going on in television and film, but I always enjoyed kind of decorating my spaces. And I know I'm not a decorator, but I really understood like going to the inside of buildings and what the effect of designing those spaces could be. So I changed my major about a year into school, and that's how I got into interior design.
Okay, so that's interesting. So you didn't have this like lifelong dream of being a designer per se. It was more so something that you found you really enjoyed along the way. And of course, you had interest in art and some elements of design, but I think it's a little different than what others might have experienced.
For sure. I wasn't into construction. I didn't have a lot of Legos. I wasn't redoing my room all the time as a child. It definitely was something I came into of like, how can I combine
Yeah.
art, business, space? It was, and I really also, my focus in studio art was sculpture. So this is kind of sculptural, what we do in creating space. It's sculpture you interact with.
Okay. So when we're looking at your career path, can you describe a little bit more, like how did you get started and what was your journey like up until present day? So you had a little bit of a different start that you said that you learned along the way what you were kind of your interests were. So when you're thinking about from there till now, what was your path like?
Very similar. Uh,
Okay.
so, so I found a major, I graduated, enjoyed it very much, enjoyed school, had a great time, and then graduated in December. So it was kind of mid-year, not like prime activity for finding
Yeah.
jobs. It was toward the end of the last century, so there had been a dot-com bust and the economy wasn't that great. And so I didn't concentrate all my efforts to design firms. I did end up working at a furniture dealer in the design department. So working out as a furniture dealer designer is very different than working at a firm. And I wasn't really too sure about it, but I was happy that I found a job. It was like, okay, I found something, I'll learn something, and I can always move on. Flash forward 5 years later, I'm still at the dealership design firm and very happy. I learned a lot. I really enjoyed being part of a focused portion of what we do, and I felt like I was really good at my job. But at that time, after 5 years, I did feel like I was fizzling out. I need to figure out how can I move forward in my career because I felt like it wasn't going to happen in that dealer world, for me at least. And then moved on to work for a manufacturer, which was really interesting. I worked for a manufacturer, again, still as a designer, so
Mhm.
application specialist for clients, that kind of role. So similar, but not the same, and was definitely an experience to travel and visit with different clients and spend a lot of time. Um, One-on-one with clients, which is not something that I had with the dealer experience. I had one-on-one experience with the salespeople, but that's pretty much it. Um, and then from there, I worked for myself as a contract designer for dealers. It was a time period when I was, getting ready to have a family. I had this expertise, and there was a lot of dealers that were like, "Oh, we can't find designers, we can't find specifiers." And I had a group of friends that was working in this way, and it worked really well. It allowed you to be working from home and doing that. And that was kind of at, I don't know, at the 10-year mark. No, yeah, at the 10-year mark.
Yeah.
And then I moved on. 2009 was a really rough time in the economy. And I think this is kind of all related to the economy, but always related to furniture. There was a university in our city that was looking for a interior design owner's rep that was embedded within their group. They had a planning, design, and construction office. There had It's a private school that has a lot of funds, and really they were working on their centennial and doing a lot of building and renovating, and wanted someone to represent their interior design uh, desires with their consultants and with their constituents. So I applied for
Mhm.
that job and lucked out and got it. And I think my furniture experience was a prime reason because they always had trouble with procuring furniture and making sure they were getting the right things. And that was a big reason why I got that job and had a lot of great experience, did a lot of projects with them. And then I was, dealing with the same clients over and over again. When you're an embedded interior designer, you don't ever escape your client because you are your client. And while it was a great experience and I had a great time and learned a lot and got to participate in a lot of different project types, from stadiums to chapels to office space, it was time to move on. And my husband, who was that architecture boyfriend way back when, was was working at Corrigan, and he's like, "We won this really huge project and everybody's worried about the furniture. I really think you should give me your resume and I think you could work here." I was like, "I don't want to work there. I don't want to work with you. I think this wouldn't be healthy." And he's like, "Seriously, it's so big. I will never see you. Don't worry about it because it is a very big firm. But
Yeah.
I really think everybody keeps grumbling, oh, we can do this and we can do that, but who's going to do the furniture?" And so I submitted my resume, and that's how I ended up at Corrigan, was for one big project.
No way. It all worked out. I love that your
It all
journey
worked
has
out.
really just all kind of fallen into place. And you've had some good influences around you.
Yeah, just worked out.
So, you shared a lot. Can you think of one project that you're most proud of and why you might be most proud of it?
Yeah, I mean, the project that brought me to Corrigan is really a key piece, which was the Toyota North American headquarters located in
Okay.
Frisco, Plano, Frisco, right on the border. And it was 1.2 million square feet. And it was a huge endeavor for the entire team. So we had architecture designing this campus, we had our interior design team designing all the interiors, and they're a really great client. So we learned a lot from each other. So I think that what was really great, not only the design piece of it was just also it was a very fast-paced project. So
Mhm.
getting 1.2 million square feet in a couple years out of the designed out of the ground and occupied was a really tremendous feat. But in the size of it and the design that they wanted for it, there's just so many different aspects of it that, and after completing it, definitely felt like, wow, I as an individual could do way more than I ever thought I could.
Yeah.
And I underestimated my abilities along the way and always achieved more. And then as a team, I think the amount of teamwork that put together, not only with Corrigan, but all our consultants and the contractor and the client was just like, wow, we really moved heaven and earth and we got it done. And it's a beautiful campus. It's a beautiful space and highly functional and really every detail thought out that I don't know, every project afterwards is exciting, but I can apply some bit of knowledge to every project that has happened since then.
Wow, that's really cool. So switching gears just a little bit, we've talked a lot about, your career, your path, some of the things that you're proud of. Now I want to focus a little bit on your community impact. So when you think about, A&D within your community, what type of opportunities inspire you? Is there anything that you've contributed to or maybe hope to contribute more to in the future?
Yeah, I think, and I not to just tout on Corrigan, but we are a big firm,
Yeah.
and we have started as a very small firm, really focused. And I think part of that culture that we're known for is based on always giving back and thinking not just about design, but how design impacts our local communities. So in the Dallas office, which is the home office, we have a lot of different team members that are working on different endeavors, and we rally people within the firm to make things happen. So, a couple of things that as a firm we do to influence the community and our own team members is we have Hugo, which is a research and development arm of our team that are just full of designers that are kind of working on wonder that aren't related necessarily specific to architecture and design, and we work together with them so we can put in a request to like, hey, I want more research on this type of thing, and they help you figure that out, whether it's for a client or the community. It's really interesting, and I'm helped them with furniture for specific research, grant that they've gotten with a paired with a university to study neurodiversity in the workplace and how space
Mhm.
and furniture can impact your experience, which is really interesting. So it's interesting to me because I have children that are neurodiverse, that with ADHD and dyslexia, and I think there's a myriad of people out there that work differently and think differently. And if we can look at how space impacts that and really research that, that's super interesting to me. So that team, of course, is taking care of all that, and I'm just helping by, helping to get furniture as part of that and making sure that like there's different tools that they can use in their study. But that's really interesting. We also have Echo, which is sustainability, which again, that piece is really important to me and what I think our team is working on. We, our furniture group that focuses on furniture for projects, we're coming up with this uh, difficulty of like we're constantly specifying new things. And when you have new things, that means the old things have to go somewhere. And all this furniture, where is it going? How is it being reused? Is it being recycled? It's something that we're working on. Um, and we want to work on more closely with our eco team on like how can we reduce our impact. They're like, well, we want to create beautiful and functional spaces for our clients, and of course sometimes that means new product, but what does that mean? How can we help our clients deal with the product that's getting not used, and can somebody else use it? We want to make sure that, because there's a lot going on in furniture and products, other, materials, carpet, those things. How can we recycle or reuse those things to not impact our planet so negatively? And then two other things that we do on a smaller scale, but also probably way even more important, is adopt a school. Uh, that has been a lot. I think we've been doing it for, I know for sure, over 41 years, which is adopting schools in disadvantaged areas. And you don't have to be an architecture or design firm. It could be any business, any individual, but Corrigan specifically has been doing it as introducing design and architecture and urban planning to students who might not know anything about it because of where they're at located in the city. And we bring them into Corrigan and show them what we do, help them and its elementary students with design projects. And how do you think buildings and cities, and how do you think these interiors impact people, and really challenging them to think about design as an occupation, because there aren't as many creative thinkers out there, and we want to make sure that we have diverse backgrounds impacting um, what happens in design,
Mhm.
which I it's something that has diversity in design is, and having people with different backgrounds and different life experience is really important to having the most interesting and functional designs. And Adopt a School is a small thing that we do that impacts a really specific group of kids, but we see that we do it across different offices. I've participated in that. Children personally are really important to me because I have children, and I really see the impact of that in their day to day. We also have sponsored a architecture camp. We actually had it here last summer. I didn't participate in it, but it was super impactful. We saw the results of that. Our team, we also have a media team that spent a lot of time helping support that camp and recording it so that they can produce their marketing materials and use that. But I think that was also another way of introducing how music and disadvantaged communities, architecture, design, urban planning can come together. And we're going to have a lot of future designers and creative thinkers and architects in that group, I think.
Wow, that's really awesome how you're giving back to, the youth in your community as well. And I can definitely tell your passion for furniture. So, it's crazy to think about how much of an impact you can have through furniture and design, right?
Yeah.
What about when we're thinking about those coming up in the industry, maybe a little bit fresher or greener in their career? What advice can you share with them? Are there any lessons that you wish that you might have learned or someone would have shared with you early on in your career?
You know, I there's a lot of different lessons because your college career only prepares you for, a snapshot of information. I think
Right.
when
That's
you
so
think
true.
what I've learned in the last 25 years, and then also, like, we have a lot of interns that come through. We have a great summer internship program, and we have a lot of people come through from a variety of schools. And the first thing I say is, like, you're going to learn so much this summer that you had no idea about interior design and about what workplace design is, or if you're in education, what education design is, because you can't possibly learn it just in a college education, and to really absorb it and enjoy it. But communications classes, learning how to speak, it's one thing to be an artist and have great ideas and be able to design, but the ability to communicate them effectively and essentially sell that idea is really an integral piece. If you can't explain it, they won't get it. Not everybody's a visual thinker. So it's amazing how many of our clients, you can have a presentation, have lots of different information, and if you're not able to really convey that information, it's going to go over, and they might, I think we need a different idea. But communications classes are really important, and business classes are really important because, again, the design industry is full of a lot of creative um, thinkers, but you might not be a great business person and really understand the math of design. And that is a really important piece, is really the business piece. And we can really create beautiful spaces, but if we can't sustain a business, then what? Oh, we won't have a job. So I think that's a really hard thing to learn, especially when you're coming in. Why are some of these decisions made by your leaders? Why is the project manager doing this? That's not a great design decision, but it might be a great sustainable business decision. So really understanding those things are important.
Yeah, so making sure you're kind of tapping outside of just the design knowledge and education and making sure that you're getting those business and communication classes.
Yes.
It goes hand in hand. So is there anything else that you'd like to share as we're kind of wrapping up, or maybe a way that our listeners can follow or connect with you?
Sure. I really think diving deep and being an expert on something, it's really important it's been important in my career. I kind of accidentally became an expert at something. Like I didn't like start my career thinking I'm going to learn everything I can about furniture. I just became immersed in it and I really learned a lot and I held on to it and used that every single time I went somewhere. It's like, oh, well, I know about that. If you don't know about it, let me teach you more. And that's really been helpful to me. And I think that's been helpful in other aspects of other people's careers here at Corrigan, like brand recognition
Mhm.
or rendering capabilities, all those different things. If you find something that you're really good at, don't be afraid to dive deeper and learn more and focus on that. In addition to the round, everything else that goes on in a career, but being an expert at something is important. I think not coming in with goals like right out of school and then being disappointed when you don't necessarily achieve them. Sometimes I think when you start your career, you set a goal, I'm going to be a principal, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be
Mhm.
that. And then when you get roadblocks thrown in your way, you start to be disappointed and see it as
Doubtful.
unattainable. Or then you meet your hero and you're disappointed and you're like, well, I don't want to be like that person. Those kinds of things, like being open to like letting life, experiencing it and being focused on the now and not as focused, in the 5 or 10 or 15 years from now, you'll be able to catch and ride the waves better. Otherwise, if you're looking too far out, you might miss this amazing thing that's happening to you right now.
Yeah, and I think you're like a perfect example of that. Everything that you've talked about today, it sounds like you were kind of living in the present and you were open to things happening and going with the flow, and you found your passion and your place in your career because you were open to those opportunities. So, great words of wisdom. And yeah, I just really appreciate you sharing your journey with us today. And I look forward to keeping up with you and your projects in the future. So, thank you so much, Jasmine.
No, thank you so much. I
This was
enjoyed it.
fun. Yeah, it was fun. All right. Take care and stay tuned for more episodes on the Tell Me More podcast. And that brings us to the end of another fascinating episode of Tell Me More. We hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of design and innovation. If you're hungry for more insights and stories, make sure to subscribe to Tell Me More on your preferred podcast platform. As we sign off, remember that the conversation doesn't end here. Connect with us on social media at Allsteel and share your thoughts, questions, or even your favorite moments from the podcast. We love hearing from our engaged and curious audience. Stay tuned for our next episode where we'll continue exploring the Design to Do More philosophy. Until then, thanks for listening.